Okay.
Why not? So that's why in Buddhism, we don't have this label of which religion is important. The thing is, if you believe in that religion, will you become a better person? That is more important to us. So the creator God issue doesn't affect us like Muslims or Christians, or even I think Hinduism also have a creator God, Sikhism also have a creator God. But in Buddhism, it's more of, will you become a better person with your belief? That is the most important question.
Okay.
I hope I answered the question, because I think many people are very uncomfortable. If there's no creator God, how can you be good? How do you know you are doing good? But Buddhism, like I mentioned in the Kalama Sutta, we actually have very strict criteria of what is good and what is bad. And like you said, Encik Charul, well, whether there's a God or not, I make sure I do good first.
Yeah.
So like even in Buddhism, if there's a God, God is all loving, all kind, all is merciful. So we believe that if really there's, because you don't believe me. Because God has claimed to be merciful, loving, kind. So how can a loving God, a kind God, a merciful God put you in hell, even though you're a good person? Something that maybe you all, the Muslims and the Christian, can answer. For y'all to answer.
Okay. Okay, that's probably I will leave it until the Islam. But technically speaking, if I can just a short answer. But the thing is, I want to agree. Nobody can claim the truth. Okay.
Yes, correct.
No one can ever judge anyone whether you're right or you're wrong.
Correct.
To me, whatever that we are discussing now or later in many of the future topics, just basically for us to be, more comfortable whether this is the truth. And that is because you are making a big decision in our life. How that thing impact. I mean, at the end of the day, we can argue, like you said. To me, even the first one, actually, I've already put forward the baseline is like, we can, even if you see the Surah Al-Ma'idah just now, last one, 548, I mean, God said we can make into, one nation or whatnot. But if you disagree, it's okay. Yes. But you should raise, or we should strive to do good things among each other, help other people. That's a matter of whether you are right or wrong. I settle it, in that sense, So that's why even the first one, if you see, God created us. This is from my view. He created us in many forms and whatnot, for us to know each other, for us to help each other. It's not for us to fight. Like you say, some people are created probably more advantaged, more rich. They're supposed to help the poor. Those who are strong, they help the weak. The weak need to be helped. Something like that. I mean, the weak supposed to be patient for them to go through this test, and the strong to help the weak. So they both play their role within their capacity. Then both can become successful. At least this is our worldview.
Now, probably can share.
Yeah, Moderator, please. Thank you.
Can you share? What do you think?
Sorry.
Yeah, of course. I'll answer that. I'll give that in detail, because to us at the end of the day, I cannot come here by nothing. That's our government. God, I say, you see all the sky, how they will come. There must be, we cannot come out something from nothing. So before we get anything approved that there is no God, we do good things. You believe there is God. What's the risk? That's always my argument.
No risk, no risk.
Yeah. So we do good things. We do not.
What do you think?
The only problem is they claim that is a God. They have to prove why they think that is the God.
Actually, like what I mentioned, there is no way to prove there is God, and there's no way to prove there is no God. You see, I have books that have shown evidence that God exists. I also have books with evidence to show that God doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, who is correct? Because both evidences in the books that I have are very, very convincing.
Okay.
So it is actually endless argument.
Yeah,
so
it's
like
endless. Yeah. That
that's
is
why
actually.
The Buddha said, why argue about?
Doctor is always breaking.
No. So what the Buddha is saying is that we have so many other problems in life to solve. Why argue something that is endless, that doesn't bring result?
I know. The thing is, we try to unite people in the sense that, we cannot come here from nothing.
Yes.
So the creator that's very intelligent must put us a noble purpose in life. That is to do good things,
Yeah.
Probably also, sorry, Dr. This is from our perspective. They said we
Sure.
don't know. Probably Buddha also was teaching the correct thing to do. We don't know whether he's probably one of the prophets. There's some argument in that sense, you know, because he's teaching basically the good thing. He's a bit silent on where he didn't say that there is a God or there is no God. He's silent on that, you know. So you cannot say that Buddha says there is no God.
What you
So
can
this
do
is
is,
another argument. I mean,
if you are interested to know what the Buddha actually talked about this, there is actually a book, the Buddha's Explanation of the Universe. It's a very highly, you can say very highly philosophical. There's the Abhidhamma, which is very, very deep in the Buddhism one. If you were to look at that, then probably you'll find there is a Buddha's explanation on the beginning of the universe. So there is actually an explanation. And if you look at the explanation of the Abhidhamma with the formation of the universe, you find that it's very close to what the scientists are doing now. That the universe is actually in a form of flux. It's expanding and then contracting, expanding, contracting. That means it exists, don't exist. So if you look at the Buddhist explanation in the Abhidhamma, you will actually find explanation to the beginning of the universe. It's not that the Buddha didn't explain. It's just that he finds this does not solve our life problem. That's why the emphasis is not on that. It's more on how to solve dukkha.
Yeah. We're trying to solve dukkha.
Yes.
We all try to solve dukkha, not for ourselves, for the whole humanity, you know. If you can really agree on do good things, you know. At least we can disagree, let's say until bila-bila.
Yeah.
But at least we can agree that we should be good and ask others to be good. Okay, there is also this from Ricky Chua. To the panelists, what is your view on religious policing?
Brother To, would you like to take that?
Religious policing?
Policing, that means like going look for people that probably like didn't go for puasa and then things like that. Is it what he's trying to say?
I think technically speaking, I mean, even in Malaysian context, I mean, in some other contexts, so they have this religious policing.
Okay.
But I think this is better to ask from the religious because they're not really philosophy. But it's okay if you want to answer because the question is asked to you.
Yeah. Actually, for Buddhists, a lot is we look inward instead of outward. So we don't purposely have a group to go around and check whether you follow, you don't follow. So it's more to ask for yourself whether you are doing good or not. Yeah, maybe that's a simple and short answer. Brother Wing?
Okay, you see, religion can be put in two ways. One is the institutional religion. The other one is the personal spiritual religious. The one that personally I'm more concerned is the institution type, where they control people rather than to help people. Religion is supposed to teach and help people, but not to control people. So if you use religion to control people, it becomes a problem. I give you an example of a Tibetan history not many people know about. You see, when in Tibet once, there is actually in archaeology, they found actually a city way out. And when they checked the history, they found that there was actually this brother, one is an emperor, the other one is a monk. And both are politically involved. And when both are politically involved, it becomes an issue because who is, if I'm not mistaken, in the BBC program, the monk actually killed the brother, which is breaking the precept. So when religion becomes institutionalized, it has this problem of we want to control people. So that is the danger of, I give you another example. Somebody actually asked me, Mr. Ui, why are you all idol worshippers? And I try to explain to my friend that Buddhists are not idol worshippers. But my friend insists that according to my religion, you are idol worshippers. Therefore, whatever you explain to me is useless because my religion says you are idol worshippers. And the argument lasted for about half an hour, and I was very upset I raised my voice, I became angry. Then I stopped and I said, I don't want to argue with you anymore because I'm angry that you don't want to accept my explanation. Now, what happened was, after that, I was supposed to take a monk, an American monk, to Ipoh from Teluk Intan. And this monk happened to be a psychologist. Buddhists are idol worshippers, and I tried to explain to him, to her, that Buddhists are not idol worshippers. So the monk actually asked me a very good question. Are you upset because Buddhism has been criticized, or is it because the ego of Buddhism has been criticized? I think that's a very good question. Are you angry because Buddhism is criticized? Or is it the ego that you have about Buddhism is criticized? And the answer is very obvious. My ego of Buddhism has been criticized. So in Buddhism, we are very careful about the institution. So if let's say somebody says something bad about Buddhism, for us is, why are we angry? Are we angry because something bad is said about Buddhism? Or are we angry because something bad is said that our ego has now been challenged? That how can you criticize my religion? How can you insult my religion? So we are looking at ego because criticize, but your ego of Dharma, your ego of Buddhism can be criticized. I hope I explained that very clearly.
I think what this referring to. Okay, I totally agree with you. To me, that is the topic in itself. It's quite deep actually, the moral policing or not, because like you said, I say if there's being a monk is good, it's a faster for you to get to the other side to nirvana. I think everyone should become a monk. I say, but it's not possible. Same thing as this one. Like if if everyone is good, they can behave. But being a government, you have to make a policy that can direct the masses who have not yet, I say kindergarten, not there yet, So there must be some kind of policy, or at the end of the day, let's say don't fornicate, Even macam Islam cakap, you don't go near, between man and man. So there is a chance that will lead you towards that, because desire so much, between the two. So we try to abstain far from that. Something like that. So, but of course, over policing or moral policing, that also some very good issue. Like I think we said recently, there is the menstruation lady that in school that they checked to me.
Oh, yes, the period.
The period that is overboard. I think people agree, but some people, of course, we say there's some bit on the extreme side. I think in any religion, in any races, we have that.
Definitely.
So to me, I'm doing this thing that probably we can have discussed intellectually. So whether that's the right thing to do, or what.
That's why in Buddhism we say we have to be very careful even with our religious leaders.
Yeah.
Because there can be extreme, like I mentioned just now, the Burmese monk that say kill the Muslims. He's an extremist.
Yeah.
Definitely wrong. So we have also to be very careful with our religious leaders, because they are human beings. So being human beings, they are bound to errors, they are bound to ego, they are bound to wrong thinking. So that's why we have to be very careful.
Yeah, but I think there must, of course, the one is argue is about moral policy in that sense. Because moral also relate to many moral issues later on.
Yes.
Well, of course, we need some kind of law, but I think Ricky Chua is asking about moral policy, which is very good. It's not easy to discuss on this very deep topic.
On the very surface, on my very personal basis, on my very personal opinion, I think it's more important to have guidance rather than policing. It is important, like there are institutions of religious body. So the duty of these religious bodies, organizations, is actually to guide people. I give one example. In the Buddhist therapy for drug addicts, right? Actually, the Buddhists have centers for drug addicts, but we have never actually said that you are a sinner, but you have done akusala karma. We still treat you as a human being. Therefore, we don't consider you as doing something bad.
Okay.
Achan Brahmawanso. Achan Brahm is a monk in Australia. He used to go to prison to counsel prisoners. Then what the warden told him is that those people who learn Buddhism, in the prison, actually they don't go back to prison as much as the other people. Reason is because Ajahn Brahm treat them more like human beings rather than treating them as prisoners and convicts. So our approach should be more of love and compassion.
All right, I think we are nearing the end of the show, already 4:40. Well, of course, I got something. But for the moral policing, we do a further discussion just on that thing. It's very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Thing, you know, because we're living in a shared space. We're living in one world. No? Our action will affect the other people.
Correct.
So we need some kind of, that's a good topic. That's a good topic to discuss just for the sake of talking. And of course, okay. I think one thing that I think the Buddhism has already answered from the beginning is on the social issues. The very teaching itself, they said there's no, you know, the 5 precepts and how do you know truth, basically good for you, good for others. Basically, we said no sexual misconduct, no LGBT, no alcohol, no gambling. If that thing really can, you know, make this world a worse place than it is now, right? So you are all for it. But some people, they don't agree, you know. Some people, they just need to be, again, this one, you know, you cannot gamble. That's why there's also argument. The moment that you let people take a little bit drink, they will drink more. The moment that you let them, you know, gamble a little bit, chances later on they can really get hooked, you know, just by.
Correct.
So this is the thing. Islam always try to prevent from that rather than cure. So we go to the moral policing, which is even deeper issue to be discussed. Very interesting. Okay, I enjoy talking to you guys. Basically, social issues from Buddhism, I think is quite clear. They don't allow alcohol. Correct, no intoxication. No? But it's just that, okay.
It's a guideline.
It's a guideline. You cannot do that. But it's just that in practice, there are, sorry, even probably you say, there are many, at least the Chinese or the Malay, they put the moral policing. You cannot gamble, you cannot drink. Of course they drink, but you cannot be seeing a Muslim sell alcohol or open a casino.
It's even wrong for Buddhists actually.
I know, but it's just that it's so common that they, not only drinking, they sell alcohol, they open a bar and stuff.
Remember I told you about the video that says about why Buddhist countries are poor? Remember that not all Buddhists are actually practicing Buddhists. They are only labeled as Buddhists. So like, true. I give you my example. My friend's father sells alcohol. And he's a very staunch Buddhist. So the problem is the father actually insisted that he takes over the business, which he refused. He said, I'm a Buddhist. I won't sell alcohol. So the father has a very difficult time to pass over the business because my friend being encouraging people to be drunk. So why should we sell alcohol? But there are people who will drink because, like you say, like we say in Buddhism, is what you say is very correct. One drink can lead to another. So the Buddhism of the 5th precept, no intoxicant, actually is to prevent you from going further. So what you say is actually correct. Going further with one drink, then the next drink. Gamble one time, gamble the second time. Cheat one time, cheat the second time. So this is what we are trying to prevent in the 5 precepts actually also.
Yeah, even the last time, I think last 4 weeks, last month, I interviewed one magistrate. I don't know if you nampak. Magistrate dia kena penjara, hakim dia hakimi my topic. I put in the show. He said it started off when people come, the broker, you help my case lah. Okay lah, dia bagi rokok sikit. Every time bagi rokok, I say no. Every time rokok, I'm still helping you. I'm doing my job. Right? Give $50. It become 100 now. Until it become 1,000. He got addicted, and one day he got caught lah. and at 27 he went to jail. So that's the thing. Because in Islam we always put there prevent. Of course, over prevent stuff like that. It's always education and stuff like that. It's a good topic to be discussed, and how we want to make this world, you know, a better place in that sense. I guess also this from Hindu. I want to ask you many things actually, but okay.
Still got chance later.
Still got chance later. We go into that very. So how different is your rebirth or concept of rebirth from like the Sikhism? He told me that if you born into animal, and animal take about 84 million for you to be reborn again as human. Only then you can get chance to, I think, or nirvana or moksha. I think they're mukti.
Moksha, they use the word moksha, I think.
Moksha is Hinduism.
Yeah.
The Sikhism is some other name. Whatever. I mean, you know it. You get it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Buddhism is.
I also can't remember what he said.
But I know the Hinduism is moksha. So, you know, because at the end of the day, this is human being. We got desire, got to manage. Yeah. Also, of course, there is reward and also being teacher, you know, punishment. Yeah. For us to get human, you know, right? Of course, in Islam or in Christianity, got heaven and hell, you know, it's as punishment.
In Buddhism, we have the law of karma.
The law of karma, and that constant cycle of rebirth. Of rebirth, you know. You don't want to, like Sikhism, 84 million for you to get a second chance of becoming a man again and go to. How about Buddhism? Whether what I've read, you have like 6 realms.
6 realms.
Realms, sorry, my
6 realms.
6 realms, yeah.
The 6 realms is actually divided into 31. Yeah, has 31 things of existence.
Good and bad, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's got heavenly, demigod, human. Correct. Yes. For the good, and the evil is animal, hungry, ghost, and hellish.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Correct.
My question is, can you just, for you to go to achieve nirvana, can you can achieve from human state, or you can from heavenly state, demigod, or how you achieve that? You get me? Can you jump from, or you have to complete that cycle, only then you go there?
Brother Toon, would you like to tackle that?
Yeah, in fact, human is the best place to achieve nirvana. Why? Because we have both happiness and unsatisfactory. You know, sometimes we have some obstacles in life, so so suffer. You know? So we want to be free. That is actually a very good motivation for us. Whereas for the heavenly beings, their lifespan is so long and they enjoy a lot of bliss over there. So, of course, I was just like us also, when you enjoy so much, would you think of practicing or be put in more effort? So, human is actually the best place for us to cultivate. Of course, in the heaven also, there's certain places where the heavenly beings also can be enlightened. Just like our future Buddha is actually now in one of the heavenly state, cultivating.
Okay.
I'd like to touch on what you mentioned in the Hinduism of how many lives before you come back as a human.
Yeah, Hinduism, I'm not too sure. Yeah.
Yes, but in Buddhism, we say that to become a human, we have 31 planes of existence, and human is only one of the planes. Can you hear? Okay, yeah. So the Buddha actually gave an analogy. He said, if let's say I have a blind turtle swimming in an ocean, and every 100 years, he will come to the surface, the blind turtle, and he's supposed to have his head pass through a ring that is floating in the ocean. What are the chances of the blind turtle, 100 years, come out once and get his head through the ring? It's almost impossible. So the Buddha says to be born in the human realm is as difficult as that. So he says we are lifespans of the gods are very different. You can actually be born in hell and also be enlightened, but not in hell. For example, Devadatta was a very close relative of the Buddha, but he tried to harm the Buddha many times. And because of his bad deeds, he was actually reborn in hell. But he also had a lot of good deeds. So later he was born out from hell and he became enlightened also. So it doesn't mean that if you go to hell, you are condemned forever. You are going to heaven, you're going to be blissful forever. Because whether you are staying in heaven, in hell, in the animal realm, and so on, depends on your karma. So it's not permanent. The only thing that is permanent is nirvana.
Thank you, Dr. Wei. Sorry, this is my own personal one. Okay. I'm sorry if I, I'm afraid that some people, because of this concept of rebirth, of course, I've read in the Buddhism, they say they cannot answer why some people were born probably handicapped, poor, miserable, or that. Probably because of the karma, because what they, what they have done in the previous life, So technically speaking, macam you kata, oh, we don't have to pity people like this, They deserve it because of
No.
their past karma. And just me finish. And the other one is, they give the room, Some people say, wow, now I was born as a king, or as son of another Christian. So it's just my entitlement to, they give that way in a room for you to enjoy life, rather than to help other people. Okay, over to you, Dr. Uy.
Okay, to say that everything is due to karma is actually wrong. Because in Buddhism, we have what is known as the 5 niyamas, or the 5 natural laws. Of course, karma is one of the laws, but you have also have what is known as the Dicha niyama, which is the biological law. You have the Uttu niyama, which is the inorganic law. So with these laws, for example, you can be born, but it can also be due to, let's say, for example, your mother, while being pregnant, took drugs. And because of that, it has caused deformity in the child's progress in the womb. So you're born deformed now because of your mother's bad habit, rather than because of your karma. So not everything. For example, if let's say I were to ride a bicycle, and then I see a pretty girl and I lose my attention, I look at the pretty girl and I fall into the longkang. So is it because of karma that I fall into the longkang? Or is it because of my inability to discipline myself and look at the pretty girl, then I fell in? It was due to my carelessness. So it's not due to karma. So we cannot blame everything on karma, although yes, karma does explain some of the inequalities. For example, let's say the person is rich, but now he's very cruel, very crooked, very corrupt. It can be probably one of the possible explanations is that in his previous lives, he has been a very generous person. In this life, his good karma is the one that ripens. So he enjoys his previous life's generosity. But it doesn't mean that his bad karma will not come out. It may come out at other times. It can be this lifetime, it can be another lifetime. But we cannot blame everything on karma itself, because it is too simplistic to say you are poor because of your karma, you are rich because of your karma, you are handicapped because of your karma. It is not the only explanation. There are 5 laws that govern us. So it can be one of the 5 laws, or a combination of the laws actually.
All right, thank you, Dr. Uy. Just a quick one. Can you answer Nagesh before we stop? Nagesh said, where are the people go after nirvana?
Very good question. I think Bante Nyanda actually gave a very good example. Let's say I have a cup of water. All right. Now, where is the cup of water now?
I don't know.
It's in the ocean.
Okay.
But can you take the water out now? You can't.
You can't. Okay.
Next question. So nirvana is something like that. It's there and not there. Just like, if let's say I have a candle, I blow off the candle light, where does the light go to? Can you see it has disappeared?
Yeah.
You cannot say it has disappeared, because if we follow the law of physics, energy can only change form. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be created. Likewise, our karma can only change form. It cannot be destroyed. I don't say it cannot be destroyed. You cannot say it disappears totally. Another way of putting karma is like that. Why are good and bad? It's just like I'm giving deposit. If let's say I have a tablespoon of salt, I put in a cup of water.
I think Dr. is breaking. So,
Okay.
you want to answer, say, Nagesh, where you go after nirvana? When you achieve nirvana, whether you like Baha'i, they are closer to God, and I think Mukti, they come with God or something like that, or if there is a God.
Yeah.
So in Buddhism, where do you go, or is there?
Yeah, in Buddhism, actually, just like the analogy that Brother Uy has given just now, we talk about dependent origination. and also the cause and condition. The lead candle that Brother we mentioned just now is a very good example.
Right.
You know, if we have a lead candle, you see the fire, but actually it's not a true fire. It's actually made of, from a science perspective, it's made of a lot of burning atom, you know, very fast, split seconds. So we see it as a fire, like a solid item. But when you blow off the candle, where is the fire? It's just the cause and condition is no more there. So that is a very good analogy. The second one that Brother we mentioned is the cup of water. You take ourselves as that water in the cup. When you pour into the sea, can you say that there's no more water? That cup of water is gone. Actually it's still there, you know, in the sea, but we actually cannot find it back again. So a simple answer is that it's not gone forever, and it's there forever.
Okay.
It's a very difficult question to answer because
True. Okay.
Because none of us have achieved nirvana.
Yeah. Of course. People can ask, how's God look like, the true God? Of course, it's something like that. It's something for us. Yeah, we don't go into what we cannot know.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. I think that's all for now. I think probably you can start with Dr. Uy. Probably you want to give your last words before we.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Encik Shahrul, for what you believe in, but it's more of your intention of doing something. And that intention must bring good results to you and to others. So regardless of what you believe in, as long as your action brings good to you and others, it is good action. That is the criteria that the Buddhists always emphasize on. So thank you very much for allowing me to share a little bit on Buddhism. I hope I have answered most of the questions with Brother To. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Uy. Brother To, your parting shot, your last words.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share the little knowledge that I have. Encik Shahrul, you are so open-minded and such a great moderator. Kudos to you, Encik Shahrul. Let me share the Dhammapada chapter 14, Buddha Wagga, verse 183 as a summary of the Buddha's teaching. Actually, it's very simple. I think most of the Buddhists know this. Avoid evil, do good to purify one's mind. Behind, actually, there's another sentence. This is the teachings of all Buddhas. So, in fact, this is universal. If we look at the first three sentences, everyone should avoid evil, do good, and have right thoughts. While we are on the spiritual journey, help others along the way, inspire others to do good, and the world will be a better place for all. Sila izinkan saya untuk sudahi dengan pantun buat cempedak yang kedua, Encik Shahrul.
Wow, very good are you.
Buat cempedak di tepi pagar, ambil galah, tolong jolokkan. Hari ini banyak ilmu saya belajar. Ribuan terima kasih saya ucapkan. The Dhamma is so profound. Any misinterpretation and mistakes are entirely mine. Sabe sata suki huntu.
And mine too.
All right, thank you both of you, Brother To and also Dr. Uy. This is a pleasure. I've learned a lot. I hope we can do more like discussion like this if you're willing. Of course, I don't pay. This is my individual effort to make that we can discuss as you know, we can discuss hard questions, but as long as be mindful and respectful towards each other, this is what I want. And of course, at the end of the day, we can argue as long as with respect. But at the end of the day, like you said, you know. We can have that, you know, we agree to disagree, but at least we can agree, like even Eddie said, in essentials, unity, essential, in non-essentials, liberty, in all things, charity, you know, something like that. So even I think we can find that in almost all religion, because nowadays, what I'm worried about is people, not people like you, people have become more selfish, you know, they're more materialistic, you know, they're more individualistic, you know. And at the end of the day, you know that the gap between the rich and poor is so huge. It's COVID-19, so we need more people to help other people. You know, like probably You talk to call another Christian if you want to give part of this empire to us, so we can help other people. So with that, so on the 8th of May, so we have another one. It's Protestantism, that we have Brother Colin and Brother Lim. Brother Lim will share from their side. With that, thank you very much from me. Those who have not shared or liked my page, please do. You don't have to pay to like or share my page. Hope others can benefit from this discussion. I benefited, no doubt. Thank you very much from me. So stay smart, stay fair, and stay awesome. Bye-bye. I love you 7 billion times.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi everyone, terima kasih kerana menonton sampai habis video tadi. Jika awak suka dengan video tadi, boleh tekan tombol like. Kalau awak rasa dia bermanfaat, mungkin boleh sharekan kepada yang lain. Dan kalau awak rasa berminat, mungkin boleh tolong subscribekan sekali, sebab saya insyaAllah akan membuat video seperti ini setiap 2 minggu sekali. Saya ada di Boon Talk Show di FB, YouTube dan juga Instagram. Cuma Instagram ni kurang sikit. Tapi kalau tuan-tuan ataupun puan tak suka, boleh tekan tombol dislike ya. Dan kalau boleh nyatakan juga kenapa tak suka, mungkin dekat situ saya boleh improve. Kalau yang suka tadi pun boleh nyatakan apa yang bagus dan saya akan cuba kekalkan atau tingkatkan lagi. Okey, tujuan saya buat benda ni adalah untuk contribute, untuk menyumbang untuk menjadikan dunia kita lebih baik daripada apa yang ada sekarang. Jadi topik-topik yang saya akan bawakan berunsurkan ilmu yang bermanfaat ataupun sumber-sumber inspirasi ya. Jadi kalau ada apa-apa cadangan topik ataupun speaker, boleh terus message saya sama ada di Facebook ataupun di YouTube. Saya jarang tengok. Kalau ada nombor telefon, tolong message saya terus. Itu saja. Terima kasih daripada saya. I love you 7 billion times. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching.